Shalom, shalom, we are back. I apologize for that, but I have to continue. I bought memory for the phone. I'm not a technical person at all, and so I thought it would just continue to run longer, but it's still cut. It's still cut. So we're just gonna continue, and I'm gonna have somebody help me figure this out. Okay. I don't normally go long, but these, yeah, I wanted to just be one continual thing, but yeah, it's good. But I was saying before the break, when I prayed that prayer, when the Ruah put in my spirit to pray and ask the Father to reveal to me my then husband's heart, I started having some dreams about him with me. It wasn't good, but I could have already seen in his actions what he felt and how he felt about me, which was mind-boggling to me as to why he married me, you know. But praise Yah, I'm here. So, as I was saying, you need to pray and ask Yah to reveal his heart towards you, towards Yah and you. Does he have a good heart or a wicked heart? A rebellious heart or an obedient heart? Does he have a heart that is pleasing in the sight of Yah? And this has nothing to do with religion. This has nothing to do with religion. You find some, and my ex-husband was quite religious. Always reading his Bible, viewed in the church as a good man, a minister. I remember one particular man, really was angry with me and I couldn't understand it. And he came to me one Sunday morning, oh, he's an asset to the man's ministry. And that's just how he walked to me that morning. He's an asset to the man's ministry. And I was like, okay, like, I didn't know what you were talking about. He's an asset. Like, I'm stopping him from being an asset to the man's ministry. So I looked at him and I said, ministry begins at home. In your house. You can't be an asset nowhere if you can't do it in your house. You understand? And so he was viewed as this great minister, this man of God. Do you understand? But the Father was showing me his heart. See, we look at what these people speak and the outward showing and everything, but they can put on a show and whatever. Yeah, he moving all of that. That's why you need to pray and ask the Father about his heart. Okay? And it was that same man years later, after I left and everything, and I think we were already divorced, and the pastor saw me years later and invited me back to the assembly before their anniversary, because we were one of the founding members of that particular ministry. And he invited me back, and I went that Sunday morning. And that same man who was so angry with me without a cause came up to me at the end of the service, and he said to me, excuse me, do you have a sister by the name of, and he called my name. I looked at him and I said, I am. Huh? He's like, what? You are? And he said, what? This, and he couldn't believe it was me because how different I look. And he stood there, and the pastor, somebody passed, and it was like, yeah, she looked different. She looked, and pastor said, oh, this is not her. This is a new her. Because when I was there, I was in such a distress. I was dark. My face was all messed up, quite a mess. And this man could not believe that it was the same person. Because once the Father delivered me out of that, well, my whole everything changed. It's a difference when you walk into a curse. I didn't look like a curse. And he couldn't believe it. He stood there, I walk away, leave him standing there. So does he have a good heart or a wicked heart, a rebellious heart or an obedient heart? Does he have a heart that is pleasing in the sight of Yah, not in the sight of man? In the sight of Yah, Yah judged the motive of the heart. You need to marry a man who truly loves you. and it's going to protect you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You need to marry a man who has a heart for Yah, an obedient and submissive heart towards a father, a fear. You have some man reading their Bible and they ain't got no fear for Yah. They have no reverence for Yah, so they ain't have nothing about to do with that. You understand me? No reverence. You just have some men who quote unquote be considered ungodly, but boy, they believe in the Father and they know why, what I fear. And easily, once you speak to them and bring correction to them, they try to make amends. You have some of these men who always reading their Bible, you correct them and they feel like, oh, you can't talk to them and they can't take reproof and correction. We're talking about the heart of a man. Don't get caught up on no spiritual and no religion. Listen, seek the Father on the heart. My ex-husband is an ordained pastor. You need to marry a man who has a heart for Yah, an obedient and submissive heart towards the Father, a fear and reverence for the Most High, a humble heart with a teachable spirit, a man like David, not perfect, but repents immediately when he's rebuked. Not religious, controlling or domineering. You see, humility, who can acknowledge his faults and his wrongdoing. You want to marry a man who understands that you are at your best when you are in a relationship with Yah. You want to marry a man who's going to encourage you to have a relationship with Yah. He's going to nurture that support. Pray over you. Pray with you. It is important that he knows and understands that he has to obey Yah. That you are his woman, his Isha, but you are also the servant of Yah. See, because some religious men don't understand that. I've heard and I've seen. I was in it. You understand? My ex-husband, let me tell you the experience I've had. When we first got married, a very prominent prophetess right now in the Bahamas. She and I we were all in the same ministry, a Church of God ministry. And one night, we used to have prayer meeting every Monday night. And some nights she conducted, some Mondays she conducted the prayer meeting. And this Monday night, she called him. And she said, I have to tell you some things what the Father's saying about your wife. And she spoke to him. You know? Called him to the front and she was talking to him. But let me tell you something. That drive home was difficult. Because whatever she said to him didn't go very well with him. Listen to me. He repeating it but mocking me. Now she called him and told him, I can't even repeat the things that I can say to you what she said because she was talking directly to him. But just when he came in the car and kept throwing, I said, why are you behaving like that? Why are you acting like that? Because what she said to him about what the Father had placed in me didn't go well with him. He was not happy about that. You understand? And that's maybe why the Father told her to talk with him. But it didn't go well with me. So you want to marry a man who understands that you are at your best when you are in relationship with Yah. You want to marry, repeating this, you want to marry a man who's going to encourage you to have a relationship with Yah. It is important that he understands, that he knows that he has to obey Yah. That you are his Isha, his woman, but you are also the servant of the Most High Yah. It is important that he knows that his authority as your head, see, this is a humble man we're talking about, does not circumvent the power of Yah in your life. He needs to understand that he being in order and submitted to his head, Yahushua Amasiach, is crucial. Because you see, once he is submitted, then he can fall in line and he can understand your rule. You understand? He's not going to treat you like a slave or something to the bottom of his shoe. He can treat you like he treats himself. But he got to first be submitted to the Most High. You marry a man who can protect, respect, and honor your purpose. That your purpose is to be his helpmeet, but does not mean, and knows that does not mean his slave. And I'm not talking that you shouldn't serve him. You're supposed to serve and honor him. But I mean literally treating you like you don't have no value, no worth. You can't talk, you can't express yourself. You're just to stand there and he order you about and throw the shoe at you if you don't do it properly. You know, you have some women living in some situations. And I'm talking about those who are supposed to have righteous man. You understand? That's why it's important to pray. Don't get caught up in his anointing. No, we want to be the first lady and all this crazy kind of stuff. And you living in misery. You're putting on all this makeup because you're trying to hide your sorrow. And it will be very difficult to honor and submit to a man you do not sincerely respect. See, because you know the truth about him, regardless of what people saying out there when he go to church. You know the truth. Pray and get an answer from the Father as to whether the man who is seeking your hand is the right choice for you. Also seek counsel from the elders. The scripture said, let a testimony be established between 2 or 3 witnesses. Do not participate in whoredom before he has legally obtained you as his woman. Listen. If that ain't the right man for you, he ain't right. That be the worst thing you do, because he would just never respect you after that. You understand me? You go laying down with him thinking that, oh, you can win him. He may still marry you. But listen to me. Ain't gonna be good. Now, that's not saying I didn't do bad. My ex-husband just didn't love me at all. You know, he had his own agenda. You know? I don't guess if I had done that, I don't know. I'd probably been dead. Because he probably would have been feel justified in killing me. It is not important how he looks. It is important how he thinks. He could be ugly. You know, we gotta look at something we say. One woman said to me, "Child, my husband may be ugly, but Charlie, he's treat me good. I love my ugly husband." I said, "Child, you keep your ugly husband." I didn't think her husband was ugly, but she was calling him ugly. You know? Know what his value system is. What is his moral standard? What is his philosophy on relationship? Family life. Know these things before, because you know, especially in Yashrael, we have some people talking some things. I'm not going to repeat on here, but you women in Yashrael, you know what I'm talking about. Know what his philosophy is on relationship. Get it out the way first. What does he think of money? How good is he with his finances? Is he a good steward of his money? Is he in debt? Is he a borrower? A waster? How does he handle money? He is a certain age in his life. Can you see what he has done? What has he accomplished? Psalms 37:16, a little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked. You ain't saying he gotta be wealthy, but pray y'all that he have a righteous heart. You understand? You could have a wealthy man, wicked, and you don't have to see a penny of his money. Whereas you could have a man who have a low means, but he would feel that if he have everything he have, he should make sure you're taken care of. It's about the heart. It is important that he is working with his hands. Adam was in the garden working, naming the animals when no mate was found suitable for him. Adam wasn't just sitting down, waiting. He was working. Then y'all gave him his woman because y'all didn't find none. He didn't find any for him. Don't marry a man. Do not marry a man with potential and dreams. Marry a man who's working in his vision. Not a man who's waiting for his helpmeet to help him get started. You have some man like that. He waiting for until he get married because his wife can help him build his house or his wife can help him do this. So all the while he just, you understand? Listen, a man like that can only frustrate you. Because just how he waited for you, he can wait for you to do this and do that and do the next. You understand? He would always be waiting for you. And a woman need a man who's going to lead, take the lead. Marriage was designed for procreation. The Most High commanded man and woman to be fruitful and multiply. Out of the union of the marriage come seeds or nations that will continue to inhabit the earth, whether the seed is wicked or righteous. Daughters of Zion, we have a responsibility to choose a man who can be a good dad to the children. And I've heard this said many, many times. Women gotta be responsible. You laying down with a man who you know, you understand, you know what he was before you lay, but you're still going, and you understand? Proverbs 13:22, a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Marry a man who's not just a seed planter, but not a nurturer. Don't come by, just drop his seed and go. Who does not nurture in any way. Women, we have a responsibility to marry a man who have a heart for Yah. We have to change what we look for in a man. Too many times we marry men who have looks, material gain, education, dress well, and don't care about the condition of his heart. Then, when we get married, you want him to change and be the man you should have married in the first place. And what you marry is what you marry. Child, they say that the only woman could change a man is the mother when she changed knee pamper or something like that. I saw one meme about that. You can't change no man. So what you marry is what you marry. You marry a man who is not in line with the order of Yah, does not change the order of Yah regarding you. Submit. Marry a man who understands, and that's why I said this is so important. Marry a man who understands that his purpose is to love, protect, provide, teach, pray, to cover, to manage. A man who can make a decision, who teach you how to please him, who will uphold the law of Yah in his house. A hard-working man, not a man who used the same skin bleaching cream as you. And I said that because when I was preparing this, I remember looking at someone's WhatsApp status. And it was a beautiful wedding. Beautiful bride. Beautiful wedding. But Father, when I saw the groom, I looked at him. I said, you think she couldn't see? You think she didn't see? If I could have looked on the status and see the man was soft like her, pretty, look like he bleached, you think she couldn't see? Or want to dress just as good as you, spend so much time on his hair and her parents, compete with you, just want to sit down and play video games or read his Bible? Everything I describe, do not marry an infinite man. Do all those things that I described, that's an infinite man. Effeminate man. Do not marry an effeminate man. Do not marry an effeminate man. A man who can't take charge of his home, cannot lead. Do not marry an effeminate man. See, because we got a lot of them about him. A lot, a lot, a lot. You understand? A lot. Camouflaging, pretending, looking to be. Can't take the sun. You understand? Marry a man who can leave and cleave. A man who loves his mother but can draw the line and defend you as his woman. Whoever it is that you take over you as head, that's who you are to submit to. Do not marry an effeminate man. The woman who's married to the right man, who is managing her according to the ways of Yah, will blossom like a flower. This is what the Father showed me in my marriage. He told me, say, when you go, you look at a woman, look at her. Look at her appearance, and not just the material things, but her disposition. Let me finish. Let me read what I have here. She will look like a well-watered garden. Not the material things, but her outward pleasant, peaceful disposition. You understand? Just calm and relax. Don't look stressed and overwhelmed and always look worried and run down, and you understand? And so when I went, I looked and I saw, and you could tell the difference. I'm talking about when I went into the assembly, into the church. Some women just always look, and I was one of them. Stress and you're rushing and you just look undone. And then you have some wives who was just, they didn't look like a rose, always pleasant, always smiling. How you doing? And da. You know? Now that's not to say they were always happy, but a lot of them had means. You understand? But normally a man who is taking good care of his woman, you can look that. You can have a pleasantness about you, a peace. You know what I mean? I remember when I worked at Kelly's Bridal Registry, and there was a bride that came, and she, with her registry, and I remember her hair. She had this blooming hair. She had it coiled and it was combed out and just bouncy. That's what it was. And, very excited how the man came. I saw that lady. I wasn't married then, but I saw a couple years later when I was married. I saw in Super Value. And I looked at her and I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? She didn't have that blooming hair no more. I was like, I wonder what happened. And I'm still wondering what happened, but totally different. Listen, marriage is not an easy thing. And you don't need to make it difficult by getting tied to the wrong man. More difficult. I also want to encourage women to get a marriage contract. Now, I know this is going to be new and some of you have not heard this, but this is something that the Father put in me after my divorce, and I began to reflect on everything. I signed that paper, and I don't remember what was on that paper that I signed my name to in that church. Because everything my ex-husband and I decided before we got married, when I signed that, it wasn't on there. And when we got home, Charlie told me, be doing something different. And I was like, what? But we already, So my thing is now for me was when you come now, bring your contract. This is what I was saying even before I knew it was scriptural. You understand? Even before I knew it was scriptural. In this world system, you sign a piece of paper which is meaningless. You understand? Just a piece of paper. And a lot of people just have a piece of paper. Marriage have absolutely no meaning. You there, I there, everybody living our different ways, but we have a piece of paper. Okay? That's not a marriage. Now, maybe according to the world system, but not according to the Most High. Okay? In Exodus 20:24, Yah entered into a marriage relationship, a marriage covenant with Israel. The Torah that was given was the terms of that marriage contract. That was the law. That was the instructions, the agreement of the marriage. Exodus 24:23 records the Israelites agreeing to the terms of the contract. One of the customs of Yisrael is for a man to give the woman a ketubah. And I just find this out. And I'm like, see, I know the Father put that in my spirit. It is a contract stating what he will do in regards to her. I want to encourage every unmarried female to get one when she's going to enter into a covenant of marriage. Listen to me. This might sound foolish, and I know things has changed, but it's just stating how he is going to treat you, his duties and his responsibilities towards you as his wife. Okay? The marriage ceremony that we are practicing today is the culture of Europe, and it basically leaves. That's not our culture. So it don't work for us. It leaves us, highly melanated women, unprotected. We need to get back to our culture in marriage. And that's what the Father put in his word. We need a contract, an agreement. You understand? And so, sisters, I do pray that this, and I want to encourage you, watch both teachings. I know this is the last, but I hope this message would give you some insight and encourage you. And those of us who are you're already married, well, I advise you before you got to pray through it. Pray through it. If you're finding that what you have is not what you intended and things ain't going as you thought it would, pray through it. He is faithful. You be faithful, you be obedient, and he will direct you on how to walk through it. I can share that, but I don't know how mature you are because I had to walk through. And the last few years of my life after marriage was not easy. But the Most High, the Ruach, told me how to pray and instructed me on what to do for me to walk through my process. I'm not going to put that on here because, again, I say I don't know how mature you are, and I don't want you to go saying that I told you to do certain things. So I want to encourage you to pray and seek the Most High on how he wants you to handle the situation. But those unmarried women, I want you to take this advice. Pray about it. Seek the Father on the heart of the man that is seeking you. Don't get caught up in what he have and how he look and all this stuff. You understand? Seek the Father to reveal his heart to you. I pray that, like I said, this was a blessing to you and you be encouraged. Love you. Shalom, shalom.